Hi, my name is Melissa, and for those of you who are new here, I am in graduate school to become a speech and language pathologist. So back in January, I posted a video of me telling my students that I needed to leave them because I was pursuing a higher education, which is getting my master's. Now, before I get into this video, I've gotten a lot of comments shaming me about leaving my position as a teacher and how the children's education was going to suffer and how I am a terrible person. Now, I just want to say that as hard as it was for those kids, it was hard for me leaving that job. I was literally faced with two choices: either go to school or stay at this job. And I really needed to prioritize myself, and I needed to, make a choice that was going to be beneficial to me in the future. Yes, I felt so sorry for leaving my children, my kids, my students. But was I even more excited to be on this new path and this new journey of learning more information or something I'm passionate about and something I started during the pandemic? Absolutely. So it was a hard decision for me. I don't take it lightly, but I understand people's frustration. Now, with that being said, since I've posted that video back in January, it's the last day of the first semester. I cannot believe that I am here. I feel like it was just yesterday that I was telling my kids that this week was my last week. And now, final day. I just took my phonology exam. I know I did excellent. I've been studying for the past 2 weeks. So I wanted to do a video about my reflections on what I've learned, what I've gained from my first semester in grad school. And this is something that you guys can enjoy. I'm definitely doing this video to look back on as I am going to move forward in my education. So let's get started. So if I'm looking down, I took some notes because like I said, I've taken 4 classes, and I wanted to talk about research first because research had me a little bit apprehensive in the beginning because I was confused as to why, as a speech and language pathologist, I needed to do research. But while I was taking this class, I realized that to be a good practicing speech and language pathologist, you need an evidence-based practice. And with evidence-based practice comes reading. We have to read about different approaches to different disorders. What works, what doesn't work. What does the science, what does the research article says about the outcomes of doing this type of approach for this disorder? And you need to read. You need to read, and you need to know what to do when faced with a disorder, right? So I think that I really loved learning about different ethics, how to get proper consent when you are doing research. We learned about the history of consent in America when it comes to research. We learned about different ethics as a speech clinician when we see something in a practice and it goes against our ethics. We learned about biases. I've learned about how to look at a research paper and see potential biases in them, and if I should, as a clinician, apply that to my practice. So research was very informative in that way. And I think, I'm a little inspired to do research on my own because there's so many things that you can do research on, right? And there's so many things that there isn't any research on. So I might do research, might not. I have other things to worry about right now, but I loved doing research. The only thing I didn't like about that class was the group projects. We pushed through it, but at the graduate level, us doing research projects really annoyed me. But I also learned how to work with a partner, how to divvy up work, how to ask for help, because those things don't come easy to me. So I really liked that we had to collaborate on something. We had to intentionally make time to meet about a project. So I guess collaboration, especially when you're working in research, is important. So I did learn that. The next class that I took that I was surprised by was diagnostic. So I've seen a whole bunch of medical shows, and when doctors walk into an office and they are asking their patients these questions like, okay, where are you from? What do you do? How is the quality of life? And then they assess them, and then they're like, okay, so how does this affect you in your daily life? How do you feel when I do this? I realized in diagnostic why that is so important, right? I'm thinking it's just bedside manner, right? The doctor wants to know their patient, what's going on, make them feel comfortable. But it's more so assessing how this issue affects your life. How is your quality of life affected by this? How can you benefit from therapy? Where is it coming from? Do you have a family history of this, right? Maybe ask them questions about what's happening now. Are they able to follow? Are they able to have expressive language? Are they understanding what I'm saying? Those kinds of things in diagnostics I really liked learning, and I really think it's going to be beneficial to my practice because I already like talking, I already like knowing about people, but to know the question to ask to better assess and give you more information about the patient was it was cool. I like that. We didn't have a lot of papers. She gave us a mock patient that like had aphasia, and we had to assess him, so we made up questions that we would ask the patient. We did a treatment plan for him, and that class was pretty standard, but I really liked learning why it is important for us as a clinician to get to know our patient better. So diagnostics was cool. The next class that I took was phonology, which I think was a really intense class because of the exams and how many phonological disorders there are. She focused more on children, and just for those who don't know, phonology is the rules of language, so how we produce sound. So for example, if the word is pot and the child says tot or cot or lot instead of the word that was given to them, that's a phonological disorder. There are so many disorders. There are so many different ways that children or people who have injuries can pronounce words that do not follow the rules, and we had to learn all of them. We had to learn all of them. We had to know what it looked like in different words. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but also we had to know articulation disorders. Articulation disorders has to do with like the mouth, the lips, the tongue, the jaw. And that was pretty intimidating, but also I really liked in the class that we were able to be interactive with each other. So in that class, she gave us different assessments, and usually you would do this on a child, but we did it one-on-one. So we did a mouth assessment on our peers. We did it's called an oral peripheral examination. We did that on our peers, and that was pretty fun. So I really liked how interactive that class was, but also phonology seems like the basics, right? So especially if you're working with children or in a school setting, I think that those are more literacy coaches, and you really have to be well versed in phonology to work in those type of settings. So I like that this class gave me the opportunity to see, okay, why is it so important for children to hit these milestones with their letters and their sounds? So I really liked phonology for that. Now my least favorite class, I learned a lot, but my least favorite class was advanced language acquisition. So this class dealt more with phonological rules, but their syntactical categories. Is this a verb? Is this a noun? Is this a subject? Is this a noun head? Oh my goodness, we looked at so many sentences and broke them up into different categories for hours. For example, if the sentence is we are running, what is the subject? What is the noun? What is the predicate? What is the conjunction? What is is it a possessive? Is it a progressive? Is it locative action? We did that so many times. And if I don't hear noun and verb again, I think I'll be all right. For that class, we had to find a 5-year-old child, or we had to find a child, and we had to get a language sample, so of 100 utterances, right? So for my child, we were playing with the kitchen, and I had to write down what they were saying. So, open the door. This fell. So after I recorded everything that they said, we had to separate them into syntactical categories. When I tell you that assignment was tedious, it was tedious and it was time consuming. And I don't know, as a clinician, that I don't have to do that too often, because that would make me very sad. But that class was really tough for that reason. But I did learn a lot, right? Like why it is important for you to know the different grammar, why grammar is important for you to know, why different categories are important for you to know, right? If your client can't say verbs, or their verbs are being conjoined by present tense things, what does that say about them? So that class was pretty tricky, but I learned a lot. So as far as me as a clinician, I think that I want my practice to be so inclusive. I want to be a well-rounded clinician. I want to be able to see everybody. Even though I love working with children, I want to be able to see adults. I want to be able to see people with different types of diagnosis. I want to see autistic people. I want to see traumatic brain injury patients. I want to see people with cerebral palsy. I want to be able to be so well versed that when you're talking to me, I'm analyzing your speech. I kind of see what's going on. I just want to be so, like, I'm a sponge right now. Like, I'm learning everything, even though I don't specifically know where I want to go when I graduate. I think I just want to be so well versed that I can go anywhere. But honestly, I think I do want to go in a hospital setting just because I've been in the school for so long. I want to see what that's like. But the information that I've learned so far, nothing seems in vain. I think that I will use everything. A lot of my peers do complain sometimes. It's like, we're not going to be doing this when we're actual clinicians. But with this field, I feel like it can go so many different ways that we will use each and every part of each class at some point. So I'm just a sponge right now. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm sitting here, I'm listening, and I enjoyed my first semester. I felt like, it seems like just yesterday I was telling my kids that I was leaving, and now here I am, ready to go into my second semester of grad school. I mean, I love it. So those are my reflections on my first semester of grad school. I'm doing summer, like I said, my program is 7 semesters, so I am going straight through. I am going to vlog because, girls, I live in New York City and it's about to be the summertime. Y'all are gonna come with me. I'm gonna be in school and outside. You're gonna come with me. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Ask me any questions you have down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.